ストーリー東京コリー街は almost 40希望の未来遥か彼方のグローリー東京コリー東京コリー東京コリー東京コリー東京コリー東京コリー会社限界絶対読みたいけど破れない父さん大学限界毎日ネットに引きこもってる兄さんママ友限界現実逃避アイドルどっぷり母さん体と工夫に流れてきたあの旋律はアクセクといつも途切れない Sorry 東京コリー人々は時希望の未来どこへ抜け出せない森東京コリー東京コリー東京コリー東京コリー東京コリー東京コリー一度きりの人生そば打つバイト始めるとさ一度きりの人生猫カフェバイト始める兄さん一度きりの人生キャバクラバイト始める母さん晴れ渡る青空一緒に歌うあの旋律は
赤いところと、黄色いところ、これが、重要になると。
上海万歳脳内は爽快ハレルヤワンタイムツータイム最強のムーブかまして
はいシュッツこれじゃ汚れないねこもる教室頭さえないね覗いたらダメつくえん中お願い怒らないでねママ
くぶるマイライフ今日も無理して魂抜けたような顔してるおじとさまにニョキニョロキノコもやもやなお年頃
抜け出していいんじゃないこれはサボりじゃない秒針なり響くこのリズムうるさいからこのままいられないはみ出していいんじゃないやればできるぎこちなくても行け少年少女
公開ハレルヤ One time Two time 最強のムーブかましてトゥシはい
How to doodly. Diddly ho. We game. We gaming. We game Devin. Let me, what are we listening to today? What's on the jam? I've been doing underwater music. Not YouTube tutorials. Underwater video game music. They're just like a compilation. Ultimate Nintendo Underwater compilation. Sounds good to me. Make sure no one's popping in the Discord. Alright, well, here's what we have so far. Quite a bit of changes since the last time I streamed. I didn't stream yesterday because I was kind of a little too laser focused / slightly frustrated. But I got past it. So we can turn. We've got our radius here. We can dash by holding the button. If we hold too long, you get like a cooldown. Otherwise, you can full send it. And you can turn while you're in there. There's been talks about speeding up the charge time, which I think could be very valid. Right now, it goes at like 0.2 a frame. We could try turning it up to like 0.3 or 0.4 even. And then like you could increase the distance, but I don't think we want to increase the distance. We want it to be like a little troublesome to control. And the more that you press, like the more that you boost, the more drift you get. Like little boost, you're just gonna drift a little bit. Big boost, you're gonna be big boosting. But it feels pretty good. I just put in some obstacles. We're working on what those do and are. So right now we just have some rocks you run into and some moving turtles you can run into, and they'll kind of stop on you. But we need to have like a damage system, a way to die, and we need some sort of like bounce back when you hit something, like that you bounce off of it, which shouldn't be too hard. I'm guessing we could just get the direction and bounce in the opposite way. Now, being a game jam, there is a little bit of dirty coding going on, which I'm not a fan of, but for time reasons, we just kind of need it to work. So for the turn radius, you can't rotate a sprite on this thing. So we have to like create separate sprites, and the way that the like sprite animator works, the way that I'm understanding it, is you got to put them all in states. So each angle is actually a different state, which is nice because we can look at the state and choose what kind of force we're going to apply to it, basically. Like we could look at a bounce and say, oh, you're in this, like you're facing this direction, you should go against, like away from it, I guess. But then again, I guess you could be going one direction but facing another. So maybe not. Maybe we just look at the momentum, like your vertical. Yo, thanks for the follow, NBK Tech. We could look at the oh, I just realized the music's not playing for you guys. We could look at the horizontal or the X velocity and the Y velocity, and we could just reverse it, and that would work pretty fine. What's up, buddy? How's it going? Welcome in. We're just getting started up for the day. I've been working on this most of the day, but I wasn't really streaming it. But we are working on a little game jam for the play date. I don't know if you're familiar with the play date. dash away from it, kind of hold our momentum a little bit. But we're still building the core like engine part of it, like the main gameplay loop. So we don't even have. I guess trash is also the next thing we need to put in, but I think finishing the damage system is probably better. Although trash will probably be faster. Because we could put the trash in and then we could not enable the interaction with it until later. Just to have like a little bit of visual on the screen. We don't have any sprites because our artists are still working on those, so we're kind of raw dogging that. But what we could do is just fucking make something tiny in Photoshop. Let's look at our images. Let's take the rock. Oops. Let the rock go. Make another one. Call it trash. Trash, man. And then set it to Photoshop. We don't need these anymore. The artists will make better ones. We're just making things at least like visually understandable for testing purposes. Okay. So we're working with the color black. This thing is 1 bit, so we only have 2 colors to work with, white and black. So what does trash look like? Kind of like a little spot. Maybe we fill it in, and then we give it some like highlights of white, aka blank. Again, I'm not an artist. At least not in this capacity. Does that look like trash? Kinda. It's good enough. I guess we could use more of the canvas. Make it look more out here. We'll mold this over here. Some more definition. I don't want all the corners to be all crazy like that. Where's our eraser? I'm not good with Photoshop, so I'll follow that. Go slow on it. Oh, that kind of looks like trash. Good enough for me. Trash. Let's go into here. We need to add another entity. Trash. And it doesn't need any rules because it's not moving. Actually, don't put the trash there. The player can actually get in there. 2 pieces there. Trash over here. Trash. Now the question is, we're not really going to have collisions, right? So we don't have to worry about the turtles hitting trash. Like, we're going to have collisions, but it's not really collisions, it's detection. Like, we're not going to be colliding and stopping or colliding and bouncing. And then let's just copy rocks since they're stationary. Call this trash. trash image. Just image trash. Trash entity. It's not a hazard. So let's change it to collectible. And then in our game scene we'll create a new tag in the index for that. We'll let them go under. I should rearrange these. So collectibles 10 hazard. Let's just make sure we didn't like break anything. Just putting that in. We're not actually calling them, so it shouldn't matter. But I hate making too many changes when I'm experimenting, because then you gotta go back and figure out what part did you break. Rock is not available. 53 on what? What do you mean rock is not callable? Oh, we changed the wrong one. Whoops. Actually, we should do this. Copy this. Change this back to rock. That is a hazard. There we go. Pulled the wrong one. This water music is boring, man. Yeah, we didn't break anything. Alright. In our main, we need to call in trash. And in our game scene, we need to spawn in the entity. So, else if, I wish we got to do this before that. Else if entity name we don't need the name of this one, I don't think. At least not yet. We just want to load the sprites in. We're not going to do anything with the interaction. I also need to check to see if the turtles will bounce off of it as is. I know with the reflection, we don't only check to make sure it's not a player. Okay. Did not load it. What else do we need to do here? Entity, there's the entity. Entities for level name, they should be in there, unless I didn't save. I don't think anything else happens here. That should work, so let's save this in case we just didn't save it. Did look like it saved quite a bit. It wasn't like a nothing save. Some music's quiet, man. Some music's loud as shit. Okay, we're still not getting trash. Although look, they are bouncing off the trash. Are they just not visual? Like, can we just not see them because we did the PNG wrong or something? Or maybe we didn't upload the right PNG to trash? Images trash. Oh, right here. We didn't change this to trash image. That's all it was. So they will bounce off that, so we'll have to check for it. Because I don't think we want them bouncing off trash. I think we want them just swimming over it. And they have the higher Z priority, which I don't know actually if higher or lower is. There we go. So now we have some trash on the go that we can go investigate. collect. We are colliding with it. We don't want to collide with trash. So let's see if on our collision, where's our collision function? Handle movement collisions. Okay, so we slide on them. And we treat it as a wall. How are we defining collision types? Is it when we override the collision type here? So like if we go to trash, or like turtle overrides collision response here. So if we go to trash, can we just return, well, I guess I can just like K collision type overlap, and will we just go over the trash? Will everything just go over trash now? Like no, it'll just overlap, no actual physical collision. We'll be able to detect it and pick it up. That's still bouncing on it. Still bouncing on that thing. We're still hitting it. Oh, because it says turtle. It needs to say trash. We probably weren't going to collide with the turtle. Maybe, I don't know. No, because the turtles override another place, so it's probably just getting overridden twice. Okay, we need more upbeat music, man. Holy shit. Just give me a playlist. Where's that one I was listening to the other day? It was really good. I gotta go to history, motherfucker. You were advertising it for like days in a row after. Not the Donkey Kong soundtrack. Shit, dude, give me salmon theme. At least for now. Okay, we're still colliding with trash. We're still colliding with trash. So we're not. This isn't changing the collision type to overlap. Let's look up collision type. Like, see what the docs say. I know I have the actual. I need to close so many tabs. There we go. It should be in here somewhere. Collision type. We want to bounce off the rocks too. The question is, are we bouncing off the rocks or the rocks bouncing off us? If we do this, and we change it to a collision bounce, are we bouncing off the rocks? What the turtle set to? Player is supposed to overlap, and if it's not supposed to bounce. Everything bounces. The thing is, we want to bounce, I think. So I think we need to change our collision response, is the problem. We don't really care what they do, other than the turtles, I guess. We care what the turtles do. Okay. On rock, on 18. Oh, we didn't change this one. So let's just bounce everything and see what happens. And then we'll check. We'll check and change them as we want. And of course, I didn't change from rock to player. So I'm just pasting shit. Definitely, well, we don't want to really be bouncing on walls. Yeah, we're not bouncing off that. Well, I guess when we're hitting it, if we try to keep hitting it, we bounce. What's happening? It does not like that. I think it needs our momentum to be zero to go back to the state it was in. Definitely need to make sure we're colliding properly with walls. This has somehow messed up our entire ability to dash. Why? Well, let's try this. I guess we could try to do it in the collision Let's do that. We would slide on walls. And then else if collision height. We're not even using touching wall, are we? Oh, I guess we are setting our velocity to 0 when we touch walls. That's right. Because we want them to just stop on a wall. So that's fine. But we don't really want to do anything with the bounce, right? We just want it to bounce. Like we could say self.x velocity times equals -1, and then just reverse us, and maybe we add some drag to it. Or y velocity. Times it by like -0.5.
Tokyo Cody, my true almost 40. My route I can name it just a yaku no story. Tokyo Cody, my true almost 40. Keep on me to Haruka connect no glory. Tokyo Cody, Tokyo Cody, Tokyo Cody, Tokyo Cody, Tokyo Cody, Tokyo Cody. 会社限界絶対読みたいけどやめれない父さん。大学限界毎日ネットに引きこもってる兄さん。ママ友限界現実逃避アイドルどっぷり母さん。体と工夫に流れてきたあの旋律は。
Collide. So it's a. Oh, it's the tag that we put. Where was it? Game scenes? Collectible is 4. So what if we, instead of checking the collision type, we say collision tag, and we check if it's 4, and if it, well actually we check if it's a hazard, we check if it's 2, 3, can't collide with yourself, and we bounce, because we actually don't want to collide on, or we don't want to bounce off the trash. But we'll find ourselves a nice rock to go collide with. No, it's not reversing us. So is this still? Let's print the collision type too. Might as well. So we can see if our changing of the type works. Tokyo calling. Okay. Love that little sound. So collision type is 1. No matter what, collision type is 1, which must be slide, right? Oh hey, we bounced off the turtle. Hold on, I want to hit that turtle again. Did we not bounce off the turtle? Am I fucking crazy? Okay, we bounced off it that way. That's exactly what I wanted to do, but slower. But vertically, we just push through it. We do bounce off of it, but our momentum changes again. Let's change this to 0.5. Or, sorry, negative 0.5. I don't think we need to add drag to that. Just let people bounce or drift. I mean, I guess in here we could say crit collision type slide, so we know if that 1 value is a slide. We just need to check the turtle hit. Figure out what's different between the turtle, what we do to the turtle, and what we do to the rock. Hello? My buttons? There we go. My keyboard just isn't working. So colliding with this is not a slide. Colliding with the wall, I imagine, is a slide. No? Oh, but we're also, I forgot with walls, we're only checking one direction. I forgot about that. Let me check a horizontal wall. That was a standover from the, like, Metroid platformer. I still don't think that is considering it. Slide. The wall should be sliding. let's hit a turtle. See what our collision does. We missed it. Shouldn't be that hard to hit a turtle. Hello. It's calling it the same type. Let's try to hit it on the horizontal. Ah, fuck, I missed. Trying to hit the turtles, man. Missed again. We'll hit this turtle eventually. Fuck. Come on, man. Okay, we are bouncing off much slower. The collision tag is a 3, which we knew. So, maybe it's because we're not setting... No, we are setting our tag. Stinky. Oh, I didn't start the sound effect bot. Okay. Maybe it's because we're only checking this as an else statement. And instead we should check it as its own statement. Oh, wait, no, that still needed an end. So why did we want to do this? We just wanted to know if we were touching a wall. And in fact, I think it only worked for bottom walls. Right? Because we had walls and ceilings. And I didn't port over the ceiling one. What's hit the ground? No, it's still not considering that a collision type slide. Alright, what did we just... Oh, we just changed the if statement. That's a type 4. Okay, we're still fighting turtles, but it's a type 3. There's nothing in here that triggers collision types, right? What about in our layers here? I don't think we did anything. Have these solids.
I've traveled through eternity, spending only seconds in pure consciousness. The tears still drown my life. To me, the sweetest man in the world is a note Miles Davis wrote. Is a poem by Imam. Is the song that some unknown
Oh, we actually made a new one.
sang outside my room.
Don't need to worry about max count. Hollow do? Clicks will pass through hollow entities except on edges. They don't have any fill color. Oh, I see. Oh. Think we could watch through the collision video again. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Where was it?
This is the playdate.
This is the bleeding. Okay, 7 minutes
In this
of collisions.
video, I'll show you everything you need to know about using the built-in sprite collisions for the Playdate SDK, including how to use collision responses to make different collision interactions, pros and cons of using this over another collision implementation, and more, starting right now. The sprite collision system I'm referring to is a built-in way to add a bounding rectangle to any sprite and use it to do simple detection and collisions. If you don't know what a sprite is in the context of the Playdate, I recommend checking out my last video on the basics of the Playdate SDK. To add a collision rect, first, take your sprite instance and define a collision rectangle using setCollisionRect. The first two props are width and height values for how wide. The collision rect, you can use that instead to just set the collision rect to the size of the sprite. Bigger than the sprite, however, this indiscriminately moves the sprite to that location without taking collisions into consideration at all. For that, you need to use moveWithCollisions, which takes in two parameters, which are the x and y coordinates that you're targeting. The function returns a few different values, like the actual x and y position, along with a collisions array that holds information like what the sprite collided with, the collision normal, the coordinates of where the collision happened, and more. This data can be used like knowing when the player touched the ground and refresh their jumps. There are 4 different collision responses: freeze, slide, bounce, and overlap. At first, it seems a bit confusing what they're actually doing, but it's actually pretty simple once broken down. They all deal with the response to when moveWithCollisions attempts to move one collision rect into another one. For freeze, when a sprite with a collision rect is moved into another, it simply sets the final position of the sprite at the point of contact. This is perfect for sprites that should stop moving as soon as it collides with something, like an arrow. I've set up this example with arrows that demonstrates this collision response. For slide, upon collision, the system takes the angle and magnitude of entry into the other object and translates that into.
We should make the turtles bounce off the player. I think we specifically have them not doing that. And maybe the hit wall is fucking us. Like, we don't... Like, we're checking if it's not a player. Let's just say you hit a collision, you hit a wall. Because we want to bounce off no matter what. And we can get rid of this if statement altogether. Oops. Now the turtle should bounce off anything. So when we hit them, they should turn and we should effectively bounce off them as well. I think that's how it will work. We might end up pushing the turtles, which we don't want. They bounced us off us. We didn't bounce off them. So I'm glad it didn't bounce horizontally. But we still need to bounce off them. Maybe we need to do... Yeah, but right now we're not bouncing away.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Oh, I heard you. I said So we can do other, right? set other x. Maybe it's not other. Maybe it has to be like collision.other or something. We use other somewhere here in our collision response. Like, could we do other dot?
Yo, yo.
Yo, what's good?
What's up?
Just streaming a little dev work.
Nice.
You want to get a peek of what's going on?
Sure, yeah. I'm just getting my computer set up.
Wonder if this will let us do this or if it's going to crash it. No, this is Octavio. He's the, what's the proper word? Musician? Sound designer?
Yes, sound
engineer?
designer. And I am the sound designer and composer.
Oh yeah, that might be YouTube. I wasn't looking. I never look at YouTube, that's my bad. I am Fat. This looks cool. You're also developing for a game. Too, are you doing it for a game jam or just developing a game for funsies? Yeah, it did not like that velocity change, which is fair. It probably doesn't have access to that.
Are you on a different call right now, or?
Oh no, I was reading.
Someone...
I was reading like a YouTube chat.
Oh, okay.
From the stream.
Nice.
Here, I'll send you. Do you have the link to my stream? My computer crashes when I do sharing on Discord for some reason.
Oh, okay. My Discord is updating on my computer. I'm just talking to you on it. Oh, here we go.
Oh, on your
Let me
phone.
see. Yeah.
Yeah, Discord's been a fucking nightmare for me lately.
Oh, weird.
See, that time we bounced against it.
Alright, I'm watching your stream,
Okay.
but I don't want to turn on this. Well, there's probably no sound anyways.
There's just music playing, so you can keep it off, and you'll be able to hear me through the Discord chat anyway. So yeah, I've got a couple things. Let me restart it. So the crank rotation is working, which you've seen. It's not a 1-to-1. It's just kind of like you crank and it moves. It's counting ticks, not position, which I think is a little bit better. And then when you hold the B button, it'll start charging up, like for like I'm calling it a dash, but it's not really what it is. But you know, you like push forward, and if you hold it all the way, get a max, you'll dash at like full speed, and then you'll start drifting at that speed as well, or at a reduced version of that speed. But if you just do like a little tap, you'll just go a little bit and stay at a slower speed. So it's all like dependent on how you pressed it.
Oh, okay, so it's like cranked up asteroids.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
And then I'm working on the like enemy, like, or like the environment interaction. So we've got some rocks that right now you just kind of hit and stop, but I'm trying to make them bounce off. Well, I guess he bounced off that one. And then I'll have like a health system where when you hit a rock or you hit a turtle or whatever, you take damage, and you only have like so many hits you can take before you die. The little black things are the trash. I'm making the sprites, so they look like shit. John's and Gus are working on like the actual ones, but I just needed something to be visually understandable. So these I want to be able to pass through because you're going to pick them up. I don't want to like kill your momentum when you pick up the trash. And then the turtles just kind of bounce back and forth. And I'm working on some bouncing off of them. They bounce off me now, which is good. And I bounce off them. But if we're going the same direction, one of us doesn't bounce.
Nice.
I'm not sure why, but working on that.
All right.
But,
Nice. Cool. So you're set on the. That's great. Well, I'm glad you picked something. You picked a theme. It's good.
yeah, well, no one was responding, and I was like, "This is my day to like program all day. I need to pick something."
No, yeah, no, it's
like,
good.
I'm glad everyone seems to be fine with it because I was like, I need to start building something. I'm running out of time. I work all week.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
No, that looks good. Okay, so here, wait, I'm just getting. I'm pulling up one thing. I'm seeing if I have.
you're learning Lua for Roblox. Very cool. I'm learning Lua for this. I've never used Lua before. We definitely want to get some like ambient water sounds.
Yeah.
Like just kind of like floating water sounds. That'll make everything a little more obvious. For I feel like audio cues, like subtle audio stuff like that is gonna make a big difference because we can only present so much visually.
Well, yeah, and well, the question is, would it be part of the score or like the movement?
Oh, well, I would say probably what we would do is have like just a low volume, subtle, like generic like water waving sound.
Yeah.
And then have like a whoosh for when you're like pushing yourself through it.
I'm about to write down a list. I'm just looking at one thing on here real quick. Oh Jesus, it's not even. Sec. I have something that potentially could be used as a theme. I kind of made it for the last game. I was like expanding the last soundtrack a bit after it was done, and I have I have some stuff I recorded at a studio on a grand piano, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to do something kind of like Ghibli-esque for the theme, and then it switches into kind of Game Boy mode a little bit.
That'd be cool.
Which kind of, even on Game Boy games, they'd have really grand intros, like more GBA era.
Yeah.
And then it would kind of like be kind of dumbed down a little bit sonically, just to like for capacity's sake. But we'll keep it. I mean, it doesn't have to be like totally like 2-bit audio at all. But I'm gonna see if I can find this WAV file that I'll send you just to see what you think. It's a kind of. I think I originally was thinking of having this be like the options music, something, but
struggling with meta tables. And the engine you're using, would collision be adjusted by the engine itself? There's not really an engine for Playdate. You have an SDK that you have access to with some commands and some variables and things that can help you with your collision types. But it's a little, unfortunately, it's a little more like hands-on. Sorry, I was just responding to.
Oh, no worries.
Okay, let's read what these are. Before and after collision. I gotta do self. We don't even need this really for now. Turtle always does what we want.
Okay, I'm gonna send you. You could send wave files in Discord, right?
I would imagine.
I'm gonna just throw this one out there. This is like a raw clip of one of the microphones, and there's like a lot of stuff that I don't know. Just see if it's a good theme vibe, because I can add all sorts of stuff to this. Actually, send it right to you. My file is too powerful. I have to subscribe.
You could. I could set up another OneDrive, or if you have access to the old one.
Oh yeah, here. Wait, I'll just put it in the old one. I'll make it new.
Okay. Yeah, just make like a new folder for this, and then.
Do you have a working title or?
My working title is just Lake Hero, but we're gonna need a better name. Okay. I just needed something to call it.
No, that's all good.
He's not even really in a lake. More of a pod.
Okay, well, it's Microsoft OneDrive. All right, one sec. I gotta get my.
They really want you to get Froyo.
All right, one sec.
What if we didn't do this? Actually, let's print touching wall. Somewhere else. Let's print it in the update. Is touching wall global? No.
What the hell?
Yep. 68. Oh, you can't print a Boolean? Attempt to concatenate a Boolean value. You can't do that. Okay. Fine. Do it the hard way.
What?
you guys are all freaking out.
What the heck?
What did we change to make the turtles freak out? I don't even remember.
What? Okay, sorry. Microsoft will give me grief. Alright. Okay. A3. I'm just gonna put it new folder in GMTK23.
Okay.
If my boomer brain can figure this out, I think so. We're good. We're good.
Oh no, I just restarted my computer. Stop! No! Remind me later. Okay, thank God. Fucking Windows, man.
Oh yeah.
So is it in the main GMTK23?
I am dropping it in now.
Okay.
GMTK23 new theme rough 2024.
Nice.
I had to edit this whole thing, but if it is a decent avenue for the stuff that is on this track, I can edit a lot of it and it'll be good. I'm not going to be able to record a grand piano this week otherwise.
Yeah.
So.
That's fair. You don't have constant access to a grand piano.
I mean, I could make it with money, but not in my apartment. No.
Not in your Portland apartment.
No. But that's the benefits of being friends with recording producer. All right, yeah, it's in there. And then we'll get the track down. Was John on here earlier?
Yeah, he was here like an hour or two ago.
Okay. And they're popping on later, probably. Or?
Yeah, so I know Gus gets off work at like 8, which is in like an hour, I think. And then John is around. I know his parents are hanging, but we might be able to ping him in the Discord and get him out. It just depends on how busy they've got him.
Yeah.
OneDrive. I have to view it on OneDrive is so slow.
Sure.
Like to actually like put the file on my computer. Your single use code is
Yeah, I think
there it is.
I might have to look at how to do water sounds on like bit kind of ish style. I might have it kind of be like more like 32-bit type of style where it's like a little bit crushed but kind of nice sounding.
Yeah, we can do it however you want to do it.
All right. I don't know if you want to get really like Game Boy-y with it, or I mean that kind of might be a John
Yeah, I would
question.
say John probably has a better
With aesthetics.
better view on it.
Um, there's like two approaches. You can either like take real audio and then kind of boil it down quality wise, or you can take like a noise synth and try to replicate water. Which I feel like would be- but it's just like that.
I dig that. That sounds cool.
I think that's just like the mic under it. I don't know. That could help. That's one of 5 mics on the piano, so I had to still like put it all together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's good. It would sound way better too. So that it's just like this is omega rough, but it would sound really nice. It's just like I haven't mixed this. This is just like raw files I've had been sitting on to do something with.
Yeah, I like the idea of going for like a kind of calming Ghibli-esque kind of sound.
Yeah. I could throw in some strings and other things in there
Yeah.
too.
That
A
would be
bit.
cool. A little cello.
Yeah, something kind of whimsical, cute for a little handheld game.
Yeah.
And then I think it'd be kind of cool to just kind of go into like a more atmospheric, ethereal sort of game type thing.
Okay, I think I know what's going on here with this turtle bounce. So when we hit the turtle, we invert the momentum of the player. So he starts going backwards and he slows down by half and starts going the opposite direction. But I think when you hit the turtle going the same direction as the turtle, I think you collide a few times. And because there's multiple collisions, it's multiplying itself like two times. So if it multiplies an even number of times, you end up going the same direction again. And just going really slow, which I think is exactly what's happening.
Is that like am I looking at a stone?
You're looking at my art. The moving ones are turtles, and the little like spiky ones are rocks, and the black ones are trash.
Okay. Cool.
Which again, they'll make it look better.
Yeah, no, for sure. What? So let's at least I just want to write a list of all physics.
Yeah.
I guess.
So you
just for sound.
You can bump into anything.
So what are the things we bump into? We have the wall.
We
right?
have the wall. We have the
And
rocks.
So wait, is the wall like the shoreline, or what is it that we bump into?
Yeah, it's like a shoreline.
Okay, so maybe like a sand.
Yeah, and
boundary.
also you don't bounce or anything off of the walls, so it's more of like an impact.
Sand boundary impact. And is there consequence to hitting the wall?
No, the wall is like the only thing you can hit that's no consequence.
Okay. Good.
If you hit almost anything else, it's a negative. So if you hit the turtle, you'll bounce off of it and you'll lose 1 HP. If you hit a rock, you'll bounce off of it and lose 1 HP. And then trash is just going to be a pickup. So it's more of like a pickup sound for the trash, and it's a good thing.
Okay, so we have turtle, impact. Oh, the turtle's always a weird one because.
Have you ever heard of turtle fucking?
That's what I was thinking of.
There you go. Which honestly probably wouldn't be a bad sound for like a little.
It could be cool. There's like the two angles where it's like you either could do something really goofy, or you could go like kind of just like a classic like Koopa kind of sound.
Koopa.
Yeah, just literally just like
just someone going Koopa.
Just do the Smash voice like in the last game. Koopa.
Koopa.
Yeah. So turtle bounce. And what are we again? We're
a guy.
Raft.
Yeah, we're a guy on like an inner tube, like a donut.
Okay, so it's definitely gotta be the like turtle bounce. So turtle, stone bounce,
and wall impact.
Yeah, and then what else do we hit? Trash pickup.
Trash pickup, which is like a congratulatory sound, but also not too intense because you're gonna be picking up a bunch.
Yeah, just something like a. Yeah, I'll have to figure that out with John as to what's being picked up.
Yeah.
It'd be maybe interesting too with the boundary one. If it maybe it's like just because if it's like an inner tube or a raft, like if it's like it could be like a bouncy sound, like boing.
Yeah.
But if you don't really bounce,
well, you do bounce away from it. So like,
okay.
Yeah, when you hit a rock and when you hit a turtle, you bounce away.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like a boing proper.
So okay. Maybe like a little bit of like a sandy, like a butch, like
yeah.
Shboom.
We're this guy. This is us, but fatter, I would imagine.
Nice.
I take fat guy on inner tube.
This is peak performance.
AI. I need a fat guy on an inner tube image immediately to my retinas. This is us. Picking up trash. If you think about it, stock images was kind of like manual AI.
Definitely. It's so weird.
They just like they shoot every possible thing so that if you search for it, there's a result.
So wait, what other physics do we have here? We have, so is the crank like you paddling or?
Yeah, I picture it as like you splashing your hand in the water to turn around.
Okay.
Like
so when you press the B button, you start that up and then you crank.
So you can crank at any time. That's just splashing around. And then at any time you can also hold the B button to start. So we'll probably need like a charge up sound, like a boop. Oh, and we will also need a sound for when the player has charged up too much and has so lost. Like I don't know exactly what I'm picturing physically, but like you kind of like rolling a nat 1 on something, right? Like he tries to push off and just doesn't go anywhere.
So wait, so when you press B, what happens?
So when you press B, the little meter comes up, and depending on when you let go of the meter, you push yourself forward with varying strength. But if you hold it for too long, then it like fails and you have to wait a few seconds before you can do a push again.
Charge, paddle, and then overcharge. Okay. And so the crank is your just direction.
Yeah, just moving your direction around.
Which I suppose don't know. Maybe there should be like a really, really subtle sound for that, just for the sake of like, I feel like when you get like feedback, especially from like a device like that, it would probably feel good.
Yeah.
But it could be like a really soft, like a little.
We could either do that, or we could even just like, I know it's not literally what's happening, but like we could even play with the like fishing crank sound, just because it's like in the water. That would sound like relatively natural.
Yeah, that's just. I'm curious how that works because like how much of a crank does it register? Like,
So like, how many cranks does it take to turn all the way around?
yeah, I'm just trying to think of how to even
So
how to even do
one
that.
full crank is half of a turn. One full crank is 180. So 2 cranks get you back to where you started.
So, where- I'm just curious, like how to put a sound on that, or like
So-
how glitchy it would be if there's like a test sound.
So there's 2 ways we could go about it. We could either have like a little splash sound every time your character snaps to a new direction. So like one full rotation would give you, what is that, 8 slaps sounds. And then, or we could do it where as long as the crank is moving, we're looping through a sound. So we would just need like a short, seamless loop that
Yeah.
we could play.
I feel like, yeah. All, yeah. Crank turn. I'm gonna have to send me a couple things and see what that even ends up, how that works. You know, I feel like just with the way it is, because it's so like kind of fluid of a turn.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't know. I just
Yeah,
feel
we'll
like
just
it
have to
could be-
experiment around a little bit.
yeah. Okay. So hitting the wall, hitting the turtle, hitting the stone, trash pickup, charging up, overcharging, crank turn. What else am I missing?
I think. I think that's everything we have like programmed right now.
Okay.
Me and John have other ideas of like other obstacles and stuff, but I don't necessarily want to start getting sounds for it, just because you know it might not make it in time.
For sure. Bow show. Okay.
I mean, we'll need some sort of general like intro melody, like we always do, and then like the game melody itself.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We'll probably need a game over sound for when you like die. Maybe like this, just the sound of a inflatable like popping.
Yeah. Yeah.
And kind of like a balloon sound when you let go of a balloon.
Just a gnarly fart.
Yeah. Really test these speakers.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right. I'll get to work on these. I'm gonna eat dinner and let me know when John gets back on, and then I'll draft some stuff of this up, and then I guess for the OneDrive, I guess we should just
just use. Well, I'll make a new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll just share it to me.
Yeah, I'll just make it. I'll share it in the Discord.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Late.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, let's figure out if we're colliding with this thing a bunch of times. So on the player, there's our collision helpers. So why don't we print all collisions. Collisions, yeah. Just print collisions. I want to see what collisions are happening. Do we need to bracket it or no? And also print a space so we can tell when it's a new collision. Listen to this. What do you think about this sound when you bump into a turtle? Just a one little. Maybe we should turn off the velocity. Okay, so when we do this, we collide one time. Oh, I guess it's hard to tell because obviously they're separated. What's our length of collisions? I wonder if we can do collision other.name or something. Well, we know that's a tag 3. Shit, go back. It's hard to tell how many times we're colliding. It is only making one collision, so that's good. Maybe we just add a cooldown. So like if it's a collision type 3, that means it's a hazard we're bouncing off of. Well, we can just say, we can make a new, like, can take damage. Because we're going to need to differentiate that anyways. Player properties. We'll set that to true off the cuff. And then when we make a collision that would result in damage, we say can take damage is false. And then we're going to need to start a timer to set it to true again. Okay, let's look at timers. I haven't done any timers yet. I think I haven't done any timers. I don't really remember. This is the wrong playlist. Okay, I don't have a dedicated one to timers, but I'm sure he does it in here.
The dash table -16-16 is actually a specific naming convention that the Playdate SDK uses to tell how big each tile should be.
Oh, I know the spawn of the
Almost ready to test the
other
player,
one
we
definitely
actually
uses a
don't have
timer.
anywhere yet. So let's first start off by going to the main file and importing the player.
So let's go back to that one. 'Cause we know I actually have done timers. I just forgot about it. It was,
It's a handheld
no, not in
console that
setup
came
and
out about
basics.
a year ago, and it has a 1-bit screen with a crank on the side.
So that,
you
like,
can
make
use
a
as an
little
input device. However, what I think is the
game
most
thing.
special thing about the device is that anyone can make games for it. In this video, I'll go over what making games is like for the Playdate, and also how to set up the Playdate development environment on Windows. Video. You should see the output right here. On the website, it'll be more obvious. You can click execute here. This is the Playdate. It's a handheld console that came out about a year ago, and it has a 1-bit screen with a crank on the side that you can use as an input device. However, what I think is the most special thing about the device is that anyone can make games for it. In this video, I'll go over
Anyone
what
can make games
is
for any
like the
device.
Playdate, and also how to set up the Playdate development environment on Windows. This is an update to my video that I put out previously called Getting Started. This is the Playdate. It's a handheld console that came out about the parent.
This is all like
This
installation
library is used
stuff.
very often too, so we'll create a shorthand for this as well, called GFX. We can go ahead and replace our references with these shorthands. If you build and run this, it should just display a circle in the middle of the screen. Next,
Do the
let's
whole
get into
playlist.
some player input. Since it's for the Playdate, we might as well try doing it based on the crank.
Yeah, here we go,
position
this little guy.
to draw list. To make the bullet move, we'll again use the update function. This time, instead of move by, we'll actually use the move with click.
Yeah, spawning.
Let's add a spawning system into the game to spawn new enemies.
That has a
Create new
timer.
file called enemy spawn timer local variable. I'll add a start spawn function.
Okay, so let's set a local variable for damage timer.
That we'll call at the start of the game. We're going to be using random values, so I'll seed the random function with math.randomSeed and pass in the current time. The math library comes by default with Lua and contains many useful math-related functions. Random seed mixes up the random.
Do we need a random seed on
Let's call a create timer function.
like shouldn't we random seed on like the game itself? Wait, we don't need a random seed. We're not using random.
In our
That's
create
right.
timer function,
So I guess let's create a timer.
let's generate a random. I'll just put between 500 a timer method. Perform after which I'll set.
So how do you delete the timer?
Timer again with spawn timer variable as well. This time I'll just set it between 10 and 212. The WAP spawner function. I'll go back to the main function, delete the spawn timer, and removes it. Let's try.
Okay, there we go.
I'll go back to the main
We call stop timer.
function, delete our references to the enemy, and input and run the system. Play. I'll use function called error. I also work locate pop is set in a function like a to be slightly off the screen. The Y position at the random.
Okay, I think I have what I need. So on taking damage here. Let's create timer.
In our create timer function, let's generate a random number of mils put between something special and a spawn enemy function that will.
And actually we don't even need to make a special thing for it because we're not like reusing it with variables or anything like that. So we can just do local spawn time and make it 500. I think that's 5 seconds. 300. Then perform after delay from the spawn time And for this, it creates another timer and then spawns an enemy. We don't need to do that. We just need to... We just need to destroy it when it's done. Where's he putting this stop spawner? I should have this project somewhere.
I'll first get a random spawn position by using math.random again. This time, I'll just set it between 10 and 230.
Enemy
a little
spawner.
away from the top of the screen and a little away from the bottom of the screen as well. We'll call the enemy constructor and set the X position at
Stop
430 to be
spawner.
slightly off the screen. The Y
It's not
position
called
will be
anywhere.
position and set the movement speed to just be 1. Lastly, I'll create a stop spawner function that checks for the existence of the spawn timer and removes it. Let's try this
So
out.
when is stop
We'll go back
spawner
to the
getting
function,
run?
Delete our references to the enemy and import enemy spawner instead. We'll just call start spawner after creating our player. If
If spawn timer,
we
then
should start to see the enemy spawning and be able to shoot them. However, there's no scoring system here, so let's add that in. I'll create a new file called scoreDisplay.lua. After adding in our
if
constants,
spawn
create two local
timer,
variables, score sprite and score.
which we have a
For the
local
display,
variable
I'll
for.
use this as an example of working with sprites without extending it into a subclass. Let's create a function called createScoreDisplay.
What if we just run
Create a new sprite and set it to the score sprite and set the score to 0.
this right
Also
here?
call an update display function that will create later. Let's move it to the top right of the screen by setting the center to the top left of the sprite with set center, moving it and adding it to the draw list. Next, I'll create the update display function for creating our display.
Function.
I'll create the score text by concatenating the string score with the score itself. Next, we can get the width and height of the text
Spawner
by
remove, do it
using
like
the
this.
size, which we'll use to set the dimensions of our text image. Here, we can go ahead and create the score image.
And
Next, we'll use push context.
in our update, we will...
The
Oh, it
first
also
one
needs
is
to
just
enable
0,
damage when it's done.
and the next two arguments are the position, which we'll set to 0, 0. Lastly, let's set the image on the score sprite. Next, we'll create two helper
And we'll print
functions.
can take
First will be
damage.
increment score.
So we'll be able to
We'll
always
add 1 to
see.
the score and call
We'll
the
put that in
update display
updates.
function. Next will be reset score. We'll reset the score back to 0 and update the display. If we go to the main file, let's import score display and call the create score display function at the
Oh
beginning.
yeah, it won't
Next,
let us
let's go to
concatenate
the
a
bullets
fucking...
called increment score whenever we if we build and run this, we should see our score display and see an increment whenever we hit an enemy.
A
Because
boolean
currently
for some
there's
reason.
No losing condition, so let's add that really quickly. In the enemy spawner script, let's create a function called clear enemies. We'll use the get all sprites function to get a list of all the sprites in the draw list.
See if this timer
Next,
runs and
we'll
also make
review
sure this
all the
timer
sprites and
disappears.
check if the sprite is an enemy.
So we're not filling it with
If it is,
timers.
we can remove it from the draw list.
I'm curious, it seemed like he did it run stop timer. Okay, we've got syntax issues, hold on. Oh, then. I hate the way they do brackets here. Oh, hey, sorry, Tyler, I just saw your message. I had a full screen thing up. We are dealing with some collision. Trying to find out if we can bounce off these turtles. Perform after delay is not callable. We probably just spelled it wrong, is my guess. Where is it? Yes, we did not capitalize the A. But yeah, so we're working on putting the stuff in the game, like the things to interact with. We've got 2 entity types right now, but we have some more planned too. But I just want to get the 2 basics. We've got, well, I guess 3. We've got the rocks, which are these little pointy things. Again, this is all my art for now. We've got turtles, which just go up and down or back and forth and bounce off whatever they hit, although I do want them to eventually pass through this trash. And then this is the trash you'd be picking up, which we also need to pass through and make a pickup function for. But right now I'm focusing on bouncing off turtles. Bouncing off turts. Okay. Hold on, we're constantly colliding now. Oh yeah, we're making infinite timers doing that. Oh yeah, I also set it up so that when you start pushing again, it doesn't stop your momentum. I initially made it stop your momentum before, but I think it's better to like have them drift a bit, and it makes the movement feel like you're going further. And then I made it so that if you're on the left side, the thing's on the right, and if you're on the right side, the bar's on the left, and if you cross over, it'll flip. And I'm also gonna, I think I might have it try to move down if you're too close to the top, but I don't want to like off-center it too much. But I'm pretty sure we are making a bunch of collisions, or a bunch of timers, and we're not destroying the timers. Let me see. Like if I just keep colliding with you, am I just making timer after timer? Like it's chugging. Yeah, like I can't even rotate now. And I don't know if it's because we're colliding too much or if it's because I'm creating too many timers. So let's try that same scenario, because I don't think I tried that scenario before. Let's just comment this out real quick. And then... So why does it create a timer when you hit it? So the reason we're doing a timer, when you hit a turtle, it inverts your momentum. It takes your x velocity and your y velocity, it inverts them by a negative 0.5. So you slow down and you go the other way. The problem we're having is we're bouncing just fine. However, if you were to hit a turtle while going the same direction as a turtle, then you would collide with it more than once, and it would set your... it would set your velocity back to the original number. So what we're doing is we're setting a timer. When you hit something, that counts down for 3 seconds. And during those 3 seconds, you can't take damage. Because we're also going to be implementing the health system soon too. And we're going to need to be able to like have a little buffer from like how quickly you can take damage. And we can use that same check, the can you take damage, to determine whether or not you'll bounce back off the thing. Realistically, you should only be bouncing off things once within a few seconds. So it'll also keep the player from getting like pinballed too much. But yeah, without that, I can press up against this turtle all day without it slowing down. But when I'm spawning the timers, we're making too many timers that we're not deleting. So let's look at why. So if we can take damage, we invert the velocity. We set a 3 second spawn time delay. Actually, spawn time's not what this should be called. We'll just call it timer length. And in fact, we don't need to do this at all. We can just put the number 300. It's only one place that we're going to have to replace it. And instead just put 300 here. The reason it was a spawn timer before for the other thing I was doing is because it was variable based on the seed. So it should only be running this one time on a collision. And then after a delay of 300 seconds, we say, hey, you can take damage again. And also, if there is a spawn timer, remove it. And this runs after 300 seconds. And this is getting changed twice. So why would this be stacking up timers? I think what's happening is we're not setting our spawn timer to the delay or to the timer value, so we can't check it. And if we're not checking it properly, which I'm looking at the code, I think that's what's happening, then we can't delete it. If we can't delete it, then every time 3 seconds passes, we make a new one. Although it's not slowing down here, so maybe I was wrong. Like, this is working how I would expect it to work. You'd be taking damage constantly, but... maybe it was something with the wall. Also, I'll put music back on in a minute, sorry. It's something with the wall. Specifically when you push a turtle up against a wall. Now, why would that be? You push a turtle up against trash, it doesn't matter. When you push a turtle up against the wall, it gets bad. Well, now it's not doing it. Maybe I just wasn't centered enough? Oh, maybe it's just when I try to press into it too many times. That is odd. I should also say, if we have no momentum on the turtle like we do now, do we want to force push them back? We're not generating any, because we're pushed up against it. We're not colliding with the wall. And we're also, oh, here we go. We're back to the issue. We're just colliding over and over. Colliding over and over, and it's never getting set back to can take damage. Probably because as soon as it changes back, we're immediately touching it. We don't need length anymore. Well, actually, do we do what length? We want to know if we're colliding with more than one thing. We also seem to not be fixing our problem with colliding with a turtle going the same direction. Let me see. Bouncing off that. And there, we still, when we hit with it, we keep our momentum. And that's when it messes up. So if we can take damage, and I can check how many times this is set damage to false. Oh, this should be outside, right? I think maybe that's the issue. Self can take damage, needs to be false within this, not within the timer, because otherwise, oh yeah, because then we're supposed to be in the delay, we're supposed to be setting it to true, and we're supposed to be setting it to false when we go in here, when we make the initial collision. Maybe I had those backwards. Also, what do you think about this sound for when you collide with a turtle? Just saying. Could be good.
In this video, I'll show you.
In this video. Oh, let me put on the best song of all time. There we go. Let me turn it down a little bit. Oh, big pause, dude. Ow. You paused my music. Why are you out to get me? Okay, buddy, I can't see through you. Sorry, Norn's on the friggin' desk. Ooh, that's what we want. Just kind of getting forced to bounce away. And like, I guess you could like intentionally try to kill yourself, which does still trigger the slowdown. But I did have those backwards. If you're not moving, you don't move. It just bounces off you. What if we're going the same direction? Just kind of pushes me further. We've got to be colliding with it. Like, what if we're going horizontal and it just hits us as we're going? Okay, so I think the way it's looking at it is, are we colliding with it or is it colliding with us? Which is good, that's what we want. We don't want to be thrown off just because we passed it. But something like that should send us back. And we need to get the rocks working the same way too. I think I'm okay with this for now. I'm just putting a note that if I've got time, like make sure that you can't force yourself into a turtle and like slow the game down. But it seems like the timers are being removed. So I don't think it's actually the timers. It's specifically when you keep pushing into it, like intentionally. And I'm wondering almost if you're like colliding with something else. But I think for now we, cats play by their own rules, do they do? Let's try to get this rock bouncing. Like that bounced us off. But there's like a little pause. Why is there a little pause on the rock? What's the collision type? Should debug. So when we hit the rock, we should still, it should be the same collision type, so we should be setting it to false. It's almost like we don't start moving again until after. And I'm thinking even this needs to be longer. This needs to be 500 seconds. I don't know what this number represents. Like maybe 1,000 is 1 second? 'Cause that was way too fast. Let's set it to 2,000 and see if that's 2 seconds. And right now we're just tracking that in the debug. Who needs debugging tools when you can just use print statements? Okay, you don't bounce back until after, excuse me, after you take, or after you, that's so weird. You don't bounce back until after you're movable again. I'm guessing we can slow the game down like this still. Yeah. Okay, so how come when you hit a rock, it doesn't immediately bounce you? I don't actually think we need to override this. Let's find out. I think I was right. I think that 1,000, it's like probably milliseconds, so 1,000 is a second. So we were only doing half a second before. Now we're doing 2. I might even up it to 3, but we'll see like once actual health and stuff is a factor. So, do you still bounce? You do still bounce, but it's still got that weird delay. Let's check your collision type again. Well, that one was right away, but that one's not. Okay, so our collision type is 3. Or, tag, I mean. Our type is 1. And turtle, so 1 and 3. I friggin' missed the turtle, man. So same types as the turtle. So, which makes sense because they're both hazards and we're using the same collision tag for it. Our rectangle's fine. So this same code, exact same code, should be running. We're not even actually, this collision style slide thing is not even running, right? Style. Yeah, this is never running. Which is fine. We're not worried about that right now. It's not, it doesn't need to run. But we're not bouncing until can take damage is true. On update, that's just a print statement for it. And we've got our handle movement collisions. These are the only places that this variable exists. So it's weird that it's seeing that and not reflecting. Because we're effectively doing our own bounce because we want to have a little more control over how the bounce works. The walls we should just be gripping to. Which is collision type 4, I think. Or 0. Or tag 0. Was there a moment where we collided with 2 objects? Nope. And on trash, we want to override. We don't want to be colliding with it. Oh yeah, we were watching a video. I forgot about that. We were watching a video on collision. I don't remember what fucking window it was. Here we go.
You everything you need to know about using the built-in sprite collisions for the Playdate SDK.
Let's finish this.
If you say you want,
yeah, we already got through this.
X and Y position. For actually deal with collision is move for sprites that should stop moving as soon as it collides with something, like an arrow. I've set up this example with arrows that demonstrates this collision response.
Thank you for showing it for 1 second. This dude loves showing stuff for 1 second.
Like an arrow. I've set up this example.
Okay, so here's what he does. He has the initiator for the arrow. During the update, he moves with collision. His direction, some kind of speed, an offset. This is all just about the movement of the arrow. So where's he? I don't see where he's doing the collision type here. Let's go through every line. So, initiate the arrow with speed and acceleration. Super init. The arrow image. Sets the image. He moves it to where it needs to be. He sets a collide rectangle. He sets a group. Don't know what that would be about. Speed, acceleration, whatever Kerr speed is. The minimum speed. I'm guessing this is like either a slowdown or a speed up of the arrow as it goes through the air. And the direction. Then in the update, he runs the super. He moves with collisions. He adds to his X, he adds his direction and his current speed, maybe. And then his Y, he adds his Y offset. And then his current speed minus equals speed direction times it. So he accelerates it. He takes the absolute value of the current speed, and if it's less than the minimum speed the arrow needs to be, he sets the current speed to the direction. So he clamps it at the minimum speed. And that's it. He doesn't do anything with the collision there.
Collision response. For slide, upon collision, the system takes the angle and magnitude of entry into the other object and translates that into a movement along the side of the object. This is useful for things that should slide over others, like a character in a platformer. If we run the arrow example with slide this time, you can now see that the arrows slide along the side of the collision rect. Of course, for the arrow that was shot completely straight, there is no sideways movement, so there's nothing to translate into a slide. For bounce, upon collision, the system takes the angle and magnitude of entry and simply reflects it over the surface that it was collided with. This is useful for things that should move away from each other upon collision, like a ball in Pong or Arkanoid. If we again apply this to the arrow example, you can see that the arrows start bouncing. However, since in the code there is still a rightward movement being applied to the arrow, it will keep bumping into the wall. If you want to do something like change directions, you'll have to respond to the collision event some way with the information received from the move.
Which we did. Let's see. He sets move with collision. And if the collision length, which we're just calling length, isn't 0, which means he did collide with something, he inverts the direction, rotates the sprite, and then that's it. Basically, he makes it go left instead of right, or vice versa. The angle is still being factored in on its own, and he rotates the sprite. Then he resets the speed to be what it is going the other direction.
With collision, return.
But again, at no point is he indicating that it's a bounce collision.
Return values, or some contact with the wall. Lastly, for overlap, the collision will not impact the movement of the sprite at all, but the system still detects the collision.
This is what we want for trash.
Like picking up a coin. The way you define these collision responses is by using the collision response function. The function takes in one parameter, other, which is whatever you've collided with, and what you return is the collision type. You can use these constants.
Oh, so maybe this is what we're missing. I don't know if our player has that. Are we in the player? No. Collision. We don't. Maybe this is the ticket. I want to set a collision response. Return. Bounce. And then
you can use these constants or just the strings slide, freeze, overlap, and bounce. If the function isn't implemented, the default response is freeze. Of course, you can dynamically change the response based on what the other is. My recommendation is to extend the sprite class into a new subclass with the extend and use the isOf function to tell what kind of object it is. That's
fine. We can. So we are using that. So if other we're capitalized is a trash, then return freeze, or no, return overlap, that's what it's called. Else if other is a Can we use hazard? Or do we have to use the actual object? So I know we could subclass, but we haven't set up any subclasses. Let's just keep it how we have it for now, and then we can improve it later. Then we want to bounce. Else if... Why is this putting us on the left? Oh, because we didn't do this. Then else if other is a turtle, then return bounce as well. And if we get through all of this, then we will return, what was it, slide? Was that the other one? Yeah, slide.
That doesn't make any sense to you. Let me.
Else return slide. Oh, guess we can just do it like this. So when do we call
Let me know
this?
in the comments, and I can make a video about object-oriented programming for the playdate. What if you want to be able to specify if something is able to interact with something else? This is where, for example, maybe all the enemies in the game have the same
this
group.
is where the collision
so when
group
the enemy
is.
attacks, the attacks don't affect any other enemies, only the player. There are 32 possible groups, represented by the integers 1 through 32. You can set what a group a sprite is part of using the setGroups function. If
Okay.
it's a singular group, you can just pass in one number, but if a sprite should be part of multiple groups, you can pass in a list of groups like so. To specify what the same way, the system checks if the group with, you can use the function slide with group of another to see if it's with groups.
We'll probably set
Those
this
two
up
sprites
later.
will still interact. In the arrow example, I've set up all the arrows to be in group 1 with no collides with groups. The wall has no collision group, so while the arrows don't collide with each other, they do collide with the wall. If I remove the arrows from their group, you can see that they start stacking, but also it starts to have a performance impact.
Oh, there's
as
the
system
performance
has to
issue.
calculate a bunch more collisions.
So
You can
maybe it was
manually check for
calculating the
overlapping
collisions too
sprites
much.
using the overlapping sprites function, which returns a list of all the sprites that overlap the sprite that this function is called on. Or you can get a list of all the sprites.
So maybe
that are
we should
overlapping
force them
using
away.
Sprite.allOverlapping sprites. Additionally, you can check collisions on a per pixel basis using the alpha collision function. When the player is overlapping the collision rect, the system detects it is not queries for a simple rate situation to plug into effectively, which seem pretty useful. Maybe in line to which is rectification based
Okay.
simulation.
So where do I call collision response, or is it like one of those functions that calls itself? Like update. Since I think what we're doing is actually overriding. I wish Lua had overriding. Okay, so let's see if we can interact with trash. Isa is not callable. Okay. So it is calling the collection response, but it doesn't like Isa. Work Isa. If other is do we have to import something for this? That we don't have imported? I don't think so. Let's look at the ISA documentation. Oh, it's all lowercase. Maybe they changed that since the video. Every time I hear that noise, I think I actually undocked your playdate, Crank. Yeah, it's a great sound. Okay, let's see if there's just a syntax change. Just do a quick refill here. I guess we can just, well, Nah, it's easier to go this way. Hey, we're going through the trash. We're bouncing off the rock. So that was the ticket. We weren't colliding the right way. What about turtle? I think because we're forcing the bounce now. Nah, we can still force it. So what's happening with this slowdown is we're causing too many collisions too quickly. Although implementing that seems to have maybe fixed it, because I'm pushing into it and we're not getting it. So maybe because of the collision type, we're bouncing just far enough away. And what about the wall? Are we sliding against the wall? Oh, we're sliding. This is exactly what I wanted. I watched this video like 2 days ago, so that's why I kind of forgot the details of it, but now you can kind of slide along the wall instead of getting stopped at it. And we're like, oh, I need to get this trash. You gotta thread the needle. And then we'll check the collision when we touch the trash for pickup. I don't think I'm gonna cause a button for that. I think it's better if we just pick it up on contact. So that was interesting. What are we doing here? I'm curious what it looks like if we don't do our manual inversion that we were doing. And we just let the bounce do it. I know it won't slow us down. And we don't need to set collision responses for the stationary objects. Now we're just kind of not bouncing off it at all. Were we only bouncing off the rocks horizontally? It like snaps to it, which is really weird. So it does that on verticals. And horizontals. Wasn't it working before? What about turtles? We're not really bouncing off the turtles as much anymore because I turned off the reflection calculation that we were doing. Maybe it's... Oh, well, I was gonna say maybe the collision type is different for rocks now. It's a collision type 3 with tag 3. And this is collision type 3 with tag 3. So they should be the same. Which is what we're using right here. I also need to test now to see if the collision type GFX sprite collision type slide thing is working now, because then we could stop using the tags. And we could just check if it's a bounce. Although in the future we may want to bounce off things that aren't like that don't damage you. Style slide is working now. So let's try this. Let's say collision style or collision type equals GFX sprite K collision type bounce. And alright, did I spell all that right? I don't think I spelled collision right. I've been looking at that word too many times. And you know what? While we're here, let's just print out that we... Oh shit, hold on, wait, it says slide. Let's just print out that we bounced. And put music back on. Okay. Give me my debugger back. I don't know why this closes sometimes. That's not a slide, but it is a collision. Is that a bounce? It doesn't see that as a bounce. Does it see turtles as a bounce? Interesting. Why does it not consider that collision type bounce? Because the C is not capitalized. Dedoy. This is how you know I've been doing this for like 8 hours. Okay. We can still kind of force our way into it. Like that. The question is why? Oh, also we need to do the turtles. So they don't bounce off those. I know I'm getting like a little ADD for it, but I want to do it before we forget. So we have our collision type response here. Let's look back at the player. Just do something similar. Okay, if it's trash, we want it to overlap, otherwise else then turn bounce. Alright, that's how that works. Or do we not have to put then for else? Yeah. So now it should go through the trash. And we don't actually care if it collides with it at all. We just want it to not bounce off of it or slide off of it or stick to it or anything like that. Well, they're still bouncing. Probably because of this. We're checking our collisions. And we need to check if collision, what is it? Collision type. Turtle, turtle, turtle. Where's my turtle? Did I close the turtle window? And we want to check if it's a bounce. And if it's a bounce, then we want to have them invert. We don't want them inverting otherwise. What do you get, a little ice cream? Nice. So I believe this should send them through. Okay, I was just saying hi. Let's fix their z-axes. Z-axi. Also, are we over top of the trash or are we underneath of it? It's going to be kind of hard to tell because they're the same color. I guess, is there really a difference? Maybe. So let's make player 10, hazards 20, yeah, and then collectibles 30. So collectibles are the lowest, because I believe the higher the number is, the lower it is. I think. again, it's very hard to tell, and it actually might not make any visual difference with one color. Yeah, I don't think it makes a visual difference at all. Although, you know what? Actually, it does. Right now, all of our... Hey. You're not bouncing. You're getting stuck. I'll deal with that in a second. I think that might be because we're not actually applying white. It's translucent because I'm just lazy. Go to our images here. Well, our turtle has white. It's not white, maybe that's the problem. I don't know exactly how it, like, the playdate determines the color. I assume it just picks the closest value. Maybe this is too close to black. Place it. Let's try this again. Oops. Gotta build it from here. Let me change it back. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I had it right the first time. So right now, collectibles is higher than hazards. Now collectibles is lower than hazards. It seems like it goes underneath no matter what. And it seems like white is just translucent. Which is actually annoying. I'll look into that later. Let's figure out why these turtles are bouncing. Turtle. So when it's hitting the wall... Is it not considering it a bounce? Or, yeah. What if we went back to this and we said screw those little shortcuts, give me the K collision type overlap. Because if it's trash, we go through. No, it's still. Let's take our can take damage print statement off. We'll take all this now. And on our turtle, let's print collision type is a collision type bounce. Otherwise, Tell me what you are again. I don't know. Print. Collision. I don't think this will actually give us the words, it'll give us a number. What are you mad about? I spelled something wrong. Oh yeah, a nil value. Oh, because we're not colliding. I guess we could say else if length is 0, then nothing, and then else that, because it was saying, hey, you're not colliding with anything, and we don't have a collision type for not colliding. Tempting at line 40. So it's recognizing that it's colliding. So why can't we print the collision type? Let's see if it'll do it in the bounce collision. So it's hitting the wall, and it's not considering it a bounce. I'm assuming it's treating it like a slide. Can we say, like, on layers if you're colliding with walls? Like, if other dot collision other dot layer name. Well, let's see if we can print the layer name. Of other. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. Nil. What about when it hits a wall? When it hits a wall, it's nil as well. So do we have to set the collision type on trash? I thought you set it on the thing colliding, but hold on. Trash should always be moved. Oh yeah, it always has overlap. That's right. So why is it coming back as nil? Oh, layer name was nil, that's right, because we're not, that's what we were checking. It's not the collision type. So when we collide, we're getting a collision type of bounce. think it might be time to step away from it for a little bit. We've made the turtle stop bouncing. Bonk. So by making it go through trash, we have caused it to no longer bounce. Taking it off. Oh no, taking it off, it's still having the issue. So what else did we change? Let's go back. This is all very old. We can run get tag. Let's try this. If other get tag is equal to trash, collision type should be overlap. Otherwise, then otherwise return bounce. Technically, this doesn't even have to be in an else statement. Nope. It did not care for that at all. So let's go back again. So we were... Oh, that's when we were trying to see if we could change the other thing's velocity. So like this should be working as it used to. The trash isn't doing anything other than having a collision type of overlap. It's just weird that we can't get back to the bounce. Okay, we're back to the bounce. We made too many collisions at a time. Now what if we say overlap? Will it go into the wall? So, again, just to verify that this works how we expect it before we get messing again. We don't need hit wall equals true. Okay. So now we can say if other is trash, then let's print is trash and return GFX sprite K collision type overlap. That's not spelled right. That's 2 S's. Dude, I'm all over the place. I mean, isn't this what we were doing last time? And it was working? If other is a trashed, can pull the video back up.
In the main file,
So many tabs open, man.
object oriented.
If other is a... Oh, it doesn't get a... It checks for the object, it doesn't get a string. Okay, oh, because we're changing the velocity, I think. So on our collision, if collision type is bounce, then change the velocity, otherwise, because it's just bouncing back off and back onto it. We're not changing the direction that it's going. Which I guess is why that was happening on the walls. So I guess it's not considering the wall a bounce. Returning bounce. I'm wondering if this is running or not. Because the default I think is slide. But we should be overwriting it. It is returning bounce. Are we spelling something wrong here? What if we just return bounce and return overlap? It says it's returning bounce, but it's clearly not. Okay, and here we can say recognizing this as bounce, inverting, and see if it is trying to change the velocity or not. So maybe the issue is this. Like, maybe it doesn't consider the wall a collision? Yeah, it doesn't recognize it as a bounce. It's treating it as a slide. So let's check our... collision we have to do collision.collision type? Is that all it is? We're just not... We're checking a variable that doesn't, like, really exist. Saying our collision type is nil still. Okay. So, how about you tell me... What are the other things we have access to? And we pulled all of these out. Collision tag and collision type. Tell me what these are. Tell me what it sees these two things as. You know what? Well, we'll check after. So many Froyo mess. No, I didn't read it. Okay, what are you saying? These aren't things? Yeah, because it's global. We don't want global. We want collision.collision type. We can't just be using generics. Oh, because we were saying... Oh... Because we're setting collision type as collision.type. Oh. This is where we've been fucking up. So we need to set collision type as collision.type. Then we can check collision type properly. We were missing that, and we were, I think, we were using the collision type from something else. Or just like an empty, uninstantiated variable. Ah! On line 35. Oh, because this doesn't exist anymore. Because it wasn't ever a thing. I don't need the tag. Just tell me the type. There we go. Now they go through and they bounce off walls. And it would bounce off rocks too. This should be bouncing off us. Yep, bouncing off us. Bouncing off us. I think this is what we want. And we're getting pushed back a little. And we can kind of follow it, and we can push it up against the wall. Which does slow it down, but you would be dead before it slows down anyways. Because once we actually add health in, you won't be able to survive that long. So we don't really have to worry about it, but it's just too many collisions happening at once. Now that was concerning. Going diagonal into it caused us to slide a little bit. But that time we just missed it. Like, we should be bouncing off that. How are we doing over here? Are we still getting that weird trap? Yeah, we are. But I think that's a problem for tomorrow or later. We are inverting our velocities properly. We could say, because we do bounce off rocks, otherwise we slide. Which is basically just saying for walls we should slide. This stuff all happens outside of the timer. If collision type is slide, then we say we're what happens if we just drop this? I think we might not need that. I think that was a Metroidvania holdover. Like, let's go hit a wall. We're still sliding. That's what we want. Because I think that was back when we were using it to set, like, vertical movement to 0. Yeah, that was the issue with that. Now we're... I mean, we didn't have enough momentum to bounce off, but... No? Stuck there. But it was that weird thing where we, like... Hold on, let me turn the prints off for Turtle. I think Turtle's good to go. No more prints here. And, what is this? Oh, this is for spawning. We're not in the right thing. Yeah, I don't think we need this at all. We're not really doing wall detection. I don't think we need these. Maybe these are triggering a wall touch and then setting our speed to 0 or something. And if this doesn't work, we'll set up some print statements. Okay, we have a syntax error somewhere on this. We accidentally deleted Z indexes. Still sticking to it. We wait the time and then we bounce, but it's only like sometimes. I'm not sure what the trigger is for it. Okay, this is the last thing I'm doing. So in our update, we're going to print can take damage, and we're gonna actually do print can not take damage. Can I print like the timer? I guess we could just print a space here to differentiate like when damage comes back. So we can take damage. We cannot take damage. Then we can take damage again, but we're still touching it. Maybe the rock we need to... Like, maybe we need to give it the collision response. I didn't think we did. Because it doesn't move. But, I don't know, just in case. Oh wait, this is trash. We need to set it to rock. I'm like 90% sure we don't need this. That it will do nothing, because it doesn't bounce. Or it doesn't move, rather. And we're still getting stuck and then kicking back. So why does can take damage stick on that? Like what if we take off the slowdown and we just bounce back the same speed we were going? It's like we get sucked into it. Let's print our velocity after we change. So we'll say after collision, x velocity is self.x velocity. Do the same thing for y. And then we'll do both of these before we change it, just to see what we're changing to. Can't take damage doesn't trigger anything else. So before we do, our x velocity is 0, which makes sense. And our velocity is -5, which makes sense. And it gets reversed. Yet we get sucked back into it. What if on the player we don't tell it to bounce off rocks, we tell it to, I don't know, slide rocks, treat them like walls? Oops, going the wrong way. No, then we just get stuck on them. Oh, because we're not... we're not running this anymore. I know we're gonna have to change this, but I want to see what happens. So this will mess up our turtles, but I want to see if it bounces correctly. Now we can still get sucked into it. And we get spit out after. It's like it's doing it on the timer. And if we remove the timer altogether, if we remove the timer, it never comes back off, which is somehow weirder. Like, we can take damage, we should be bouncing off this thing. Oh, but we didn't change the other thing back. Maybe that's why. Did we just bounce off the trash? That was weird. So we bounce, we just never come off of it. Like it needs... It needs this can't take damage thing to pop back off for some reason. Why that would be, I can't think of a possible reason. And for some reason we just bounced off trash. Oh no, we're bouncing off the turtle. No, there's no turtle there. We're still like ricocheting into it. Which is probably because... Well, now we can't take damage. Which, it doesn't matter, we're not checking it. Like, that's weird. Right there. Let's, drop these. Well, actually, no, let's keep these. And then, in update, give me back the, I know this isn't right, but hold on. Not 6 velocity. I want to see what our velocity is as we ricochet off this thing. Like, what happened there? Okay, where did we hit it? We hit it twice. So we went into it at 0.7. And it got negative 0.7 got converted to 0.7. Then we went into it at -7, came out at 7. We start slowing down, which is expected. Is it the drag? So we apply drag anytime we're in the dash state. And then when we hit the minimum dash speed, which is 3, we stop slowing down. Because we don't want to slow down to nothing. Our drift, when we go to idle, maybe we should check our state. I think get state's a function. Or maybe it's check state. We'll see once we pop up, yeah. Okay, we're idle. Maybe it's when we hit it in the dash state still? Oh no, that was weird. So we're idle when we hit it, but we're dash after. I think I see what's happening. We're going very slowly when we trigger. The dash is triggering after. How about when you're taking damage? Hold on. When you're in the can't take damage state, dash power has to be greater than 0, which means that dash is available effectively. let's do this. Update. And we're going to check if dash available or self.dash available is equal to self.can take damage being true. You have to be able to take damage, and dash self.dash, or is it self.dash power or just dash power? Dash power has to be greater than or equal to 0. And then here, instead of checking dash power, we can just check self.dash available. Which again, this should work too, because now we're checking to make sure it's not negative. And dash power is, oh, it has to be less than 8. And dash power is less than or equal to 8. So now if we hit the wall while we're holding a dash, we won't be able to start holding up a new one. Getting stuck because it's not getting destroyed. How about this? We go back to what we had. And we check if self can take damage is not true, then or actually, why don't we use the same cooldown? Get rid of this altogether. And what we do when we overhold is we set dash power to -8, and we remove the power bar. We change the state to idle. So how about when we have the collision, we do the same thing. On a collision, lose all your dash power, destroy the bar, and make us go to idle no matter what. We might not need to change the idle, but I'm going to leave it there for now. Okay. So now when you hit something, you have, maybe I'll make it a smaller amount of time, but you can't force it. You're kind of stuck. Extra penalty. Change it to 4. Just because I don't want you to be like halfway across the map if you did a big power shot into something. I think this solves all our problems. And if I'm holding it, let's go Boom, go back a little bit further. I want to be holding it while... And it's not a danger if like a turtle hits you in this state because you can't take damage. So, you're immune. It's hard to force yourself to be charging while... Yeah, it just takes it away. A couple seconds later you get it back. Yeah, I think this solves it. I think this is all of our collision problems fixed. We can't like force collide the turtles anymore. Just we ricochet off. And we lose control for a minute. We can rotate, but we can't dash when we hit something. We'll set up the damage. So it actually has impact, but can still slide on walls. I think all of our collision problems are fixed. That one simple trick. Our timers are all working. See what happens when you like get stuck in this again. This is how we first found it, so this will be the stress test. Yeah, you just slow down twice if you hit a second thing, which is fine. It's kind of what would happen. And let's check angles. You bounce back. We could like set up a thing where you ricochet off like diagonal, like a ping pong ball, but I think more realistically in a tube you would just go back the way you came. And turtles should be good. If I hit a turtle like that, and I guess it bounces off me. I bounce off it. Even if I try to catch it, I bounce off it. So I think it was the same issue where we were getting the inverse of our speed before we actually dashed. So it was inversing a small number, and then we were immediately pushing forward at full force, which would throw us back into the thing we collided with. Okay. Let's make a commit. Added hazards and collisions. Added rocks. Got stationary and bounce the player. Well, let's just do it like this. Rocks. Bounce the player. Rocks damage the player. Added turtles that move. Turtles reverse direction on hitting walls or player. Turtles damage player. Turtles bounce player. Added trash. That is stationary. We're not picking up the trash yet. Turtles go through trash. Players go through trash. Alright, let's call it there. My head hurts. Who are we raiding? Who's even live? Oh, Jazz is live. Let's raid Jazz. More Remnant 2. Alright, I'll be back tomorrow with more of this after I do this all day for work. Later.
And I'm going to ball. Like, I swear. It's gonna happen. And when it does, I will be... Did not lower the volume the way I thought I did. Holy shit, okay. Jesus. Okay. I actually need to go into Twitch and lower the volume. I can't be lazy about it anymore. Okay, noted. Thanks for the raid. Thanks for the raid. I appreciate it so much. Oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna hyper. I'm good, I'm good. Holy shit. It's going good. Give me a quick second.
That's it?
I want to make sure that doesn't happen again. Besides the second time that's happened tonight. Shit, why is that so loud? Why is that so loud? I think it's only the raid ones too. I think it's only the raid ones. Wait, it is, visuals and sound. Sound. We can go half. We can go like half. Well. Should be good now. Holy shit. Remnant's going good. Thanks for the raid, again. It's good to see y'all. How was the stream? Were you playing more crap game? Or was it Pokemon? Because I know you play Pokemon also. You know, like, when, it's like the feeling... Oh, wait, there's you over there. Ooh, wait, okay, you have to tell me about it. I want to hear about it. I want to hear about how that's going. Also, something... The Playdate. I've not heard of the Playdate console. What is it? Okay. Oh, so it's like... So basically just like a hand... Like a... So it's like one of those radios that... You know, like the hand crank radios that you get as a kid, and you're like, oh, if the lights ever go off, I have this and I'm saved. Yeah, oh my, wait, that's so cool. Wait, I love that. I love that kind of stuff. It's like, granted, it's not like technically that practical, seeing as you could probably get like a charger with like a like a crank on it, and that kind of does the same thing. But like, it's so cool. What language? What language do you have to program it in? Also, I want to hear about the game idea. Oh, Lua. I don't know a lot about Lua. All I know about it is I had to. I've needed to use it to patch some stuff. How the hell do I get up there? Or, I used it for, like, some ROMs to patch some stuff into them. The theme is float, okay. So what's your idea? I promise I won't steal the idea. Not that I really have the skill to do that anyway. We're doing a little do an inner tube floating around a lake. You rotate the crank. Oh wait, so the crank. Sorry, I might have been misunderstanding. So the crank is not like a power thing; it's like an actual control thing. Oh. Oh, okay, I get it. That's interesting. It seems like it makes sense. Is this the one I think it is? No, it can't be, right? Where's this one? OBS, I would like to open you, please, for a second. Hey, that sounds like you have some time, though. You basically got, like, all this week. Oh, I know this one. Okay, I recognize this fight. I don't think this should be that bad. Oh, I don't have my mods up though. Why can I not shoot? There we go, now I can shoot. Okay, it didn't matter anyway. Didn't matter anyway. Oh yeah, I can see. This is why my hobbies include things that aren't part of my job. I feel like it's... Well, I mean, for some people, I guess it makes sense. If you like programming a lot. See that? I don't think there's a direct hit. At least I can fire my weapon now. That's good. Where are you? Oh, okay, he's down here. He's down here. Where are you going? Oh, okay, we got eggs. It's egg time. Our damage is kind of insane right now. We have so much stacks of bulwark.